This guy right here is the Warden. He is one of Minecraft's newest enemies and has health like you wouldn't believe. It takes multiple swings from a diamond sword to bring this giant down. He is seemingly from another dimension within the game's lore and is a sound-based hunter. And the interesting thing that this made me think of while messing around with these guys in game was the Death Angels from A Quiet Place. And I wanted to know what would happen if these two creatures, being sound-based hunters, were to meet, and how might a fight between the two species go down. After the ancient builders discovered that they could travel to new and interesting dimensions and gather resources, they decided to build a new portal. They would take them to a brand new world where they could harvest resources and bring them back to the overworld. However, much to their horror, something monstrous arrived in the overworld with a plague-like skulk substance as well as the monstrous Warden with it. The Warden was a monster that would attack anything that stepped on the skulk that arrived through the portal alongside it. Now, at first, the Warden was pretty much a docile creature, but when the skulk started to spread towards the buildings within the underground village, kept within the cave systems by the ancient builders, the Warden became very aggressive and would attack anybody who stepped on the skulk or made noise. The ancient builders quickly came to the realization that the Warden was here to protect the growing plague-like substance that they would refer to as skulk, and it would attack anybody that made noise or even touched the skulk in general. So they originally decided to try to worship and coexist with the Warden. However, things became increasingly bad as the skulk began to spread into their buildings and houses, making the Warden increasingly agitated, and every time a human would touch the skulk, it would set the Warden off into a blind rage. This led the ancient builders to try to continue to coexist with the creature and constructed carpet-like pathways. However, this would soon prove to be ineffective as well, as the Warden became increasingly aggressive and decimated the entire underground village of ancient builders, until only it remained, along with its precious skulk. The Death Angels are a race of violent and animalistic aliens. They appear to have a durable outer shell and are confirmed to be by the director of the Quiet Place movies to be bulletproof. They also appear to hail from a planet that is devoid of sunlight, as the Death Angels do not have eyes and instead hunt by echolocation and sound. After surviving the extinction level event that destroyed their planet, the Death Angels arrived on Earth via a meteorite, and then proceeded to lay waste to the planet, destroying anything that made noise. This would include electronics, technology, and even humans. And the humans that remained after the Death Angels' original attack would quickly become accustomed to staying quiet, because any noise would set off the Death Angels, wherever they may be. The Death Angels had an outstanding sense of hearing, and anything, even the slightest drop of a coin, would set them off. When the Death Angels aren't searching for the source of a noise, they seem pretty docile and wander around the earth aimlessly looking for rabbits and raccoons, which they inherently kill and eat, showcased in both Quiet Place movies. Throughout both Quiet Place movies, the Death Angels appear to be pack-orientated hunters, and when they are sighted, there's usually more than one that the main characters will have to deal with, and usually appear in groups of 2s and even 3s, and when a single Death Angel arrives, it's not long before others join the hunt. After vanquishing this race of creatures that threatened his precious skulk, the Warden wandered through the ruins that had once held an advanced society of ancient builders. With his job complete and his skulk safe, he began to lay down and rest. However, he was quickly woken up from his slumber by a noise. This noise was not like the creatures that he had fought earlier. It was a strange and alien noise, more alien than this new world he had found himself in. The creature that came forward was something that he did not recognize. Its smell was alien to him, more alien than the creatures he had fought when he arrived in this strange world. The creature chittered and growled at him, and with it making all this noise, it sent the warden into defense mode. He had to protect his precious skulk. He had to spread it. The creature walked around, screeching and jittering quietly to itself, until it stepped on the skull, and this angered the warden. The warden stomped forward, alerting the Death Angel to its presence. The Death Angel jumped forward at the noise that it just heard, and chomped its teeth down onto a hard substance. This was not like the other things it had eaten before. It wasn't squishy nor crunchy, but rather hard like a rock. It tried to bite down harder, but ultimately it could not pierce the substance its teeth were wrapped around. It used its claws and tried to scrape wildly at whatever had it in its grip. Ultimately, it could not harm whatever thing it had just started a fight with. The warden quickly slammed the Death Angel into the ground, and the Death Angel quickly got back up and tried striking at the warden. Ultimately, its claws scraped across the warden's ribcage and did nothing. The warden angrily swiped at his opponent, who seemed much faster than he was. However, the warden was able to manage to get a hold of this struggling and violent creature, and swung it as hard as it could against the cave walls, causing a loud crack, and the cave itself shuddered like a huge force occupied it. The two creatures dueled, but ultimately the warden could not grab whatever his attacker was, and wherever it seemed to come from. The creature appeared to be everywhere at once. However, it could not trace where its location was. The creature moved faster than it, so the warden let out a loud shriek, sending its supersonic cry out. The creature that surrounded it seemingly stopped and wailed in pain for a moment. As the warden let out another supersonic cry, the creature began to scream in even more immense pain, until finally it just stopped. The warden was quick to assume victory over its strange new opponent. However, as it began to walk away, it heard the strange sounds again, the jittering and the snarling of this foreign creature. It turned back around, only to be met with a huge bite to its face, and it began to feel strange claws wrap around its neck, digging into its flesh, and trying to rip the head away from its shoulders. The creature was ultimately successful in ripping off one of the warden's horns and laying it aside. However, the warden was quick to retaliate by knocking the creature back on its back, and quickly ending the fight with a resounding crack from its fists directly into the creature's head, which slammed into the stone walls of the cave. The creature went limp, and truly, the warden was now victorious. The Death Angel was dead, and the warden had successfully once again protected its precious skull from that which tried to steal it away. So with that, the warden appears to have won this fight, and in a very brutal fashion, having slammed the Death Angel against the wall so hard its head exploded. Now the reason for the warden's sudden victory was all thanks to its supersonic scream, which disorientated the Death Angel, and when the Death Angel is disorientated or when it hears an insanely loud noise within the Quiet Place movies, it opens up the plates that protect its face, so that fleshy covering is exposed. And so, because the Death Angel was so weak and the plates were exposed, this allowed the warden to pick up the Death Angel and violently swing it as hard as it could into the cave wall, which ultimately, while its face was exposed, ended up brutally killing it and having its head explode the moment it hit the cave wall, killing it instantly. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought about this fight that I put together between the Minecraft Warden and the A Quiet Place Death Angel. Let me know what you thought about the final outcome, and would you have done this fight differently? Let me know all this in the comments below, and with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. Do take care, have a great night, and I'll see ya in the next video.